Alright guys, we've got all the Metal Cloak fenders and rockers laid out. Just going to go over a brief little tutorial on prep for paint. All of these were ordered in the raw finish. So we're just going to take a Scotch-Brite pad, kind of go over every surface, putting small little scratches into it. Any sort of rust that we see, we're going to want to try to get out. Extra mil scale. Remember, the more effort and time you spend right now on the prep, the better your paint results are going to be. So everywhere where they've got welds, you'll see a little bit of, I guess you can call it carbon kind of build up. Make sure you get those areas real well. And what you'll notice is you're handling these tube fenders, you're getting a lot of black and silver on your hands, which is all the mil scale on the steel itself. So what I've got is some mineral spirits. I'm just going to get this rag nice and wet, and I'm going to take that mineral spirits and wipe down these fenders real well. Mineral spirits does not have like a flash time like it does acetone, where it's going to dry off real quick. You've got a little bit more time to work with that mineral spirits. So that's one thing I'm doing now, is just getting off all that oil. You can see on the rag all that oil that's coming off. That's what we're looking for. Alright, so we've got everything wiped down with mineral spirits, scuffed with the Scotch-Brite pads. All I'm doing now is just coming through with a terry cloth and giving everything one more wipe down. Seeing how much oil we have left. This will determine if we're going to do one more wipe down with some more mineral spirits after that's done. And as you can see, I am wearing gloves now. Our goal is to get all the oil off that we can. So with these gloves, that'll help with my finger oils at least, keeping those off. We've got everything wiped down twice with mineral spirits. Prior to that, we scuffed everything down. What I've got is just a little wax and grease remover. We're gonna put that on a cloth and do one final wipe down before we start applying some primer. All we're doing is just a damp cloth here. We're going to be painting the fenders. We're going to be using this magic paint. This is available at your local Tractor Supply. This is going to be the primer that we're using. And then for our top coat, we're going to go ahead and use their tractor enamel. I'm thinking this should hold up a lot better. I've used the, not this brand, but other tractor paint from Tractor Supply in the past on roll cages, control arms, stuff like that, and it worked real well. So that's our plan. When we're using the primer here, we're going to mix that on an 8-to-1 ratio. I grabbed these guys from Amazon. Just little mixing cups, makes life easier on measuring everything out. And then I've got this paint gun. Had this thing for years. It's a pretty basic one. I think maybe around $50 when I bought it years ago. Again, use the same gun for painting control arms, roll cages, chassis, stuff like that. And Then again, strainer, another Amazon special here. You can buy those probably at your local Tractor Supply or any other paint store. But we'll get everything mixed up and go from there. So all we do is on this can or cup, you'll see we've got an 8-to-1 ratio. We're gonna add our 4 parts and then we'll add our 5th up here. Fifth being the reducer, just because we are going to be spraying this on. And our trusty popsicle stick, get everything all mixed up. They do make these cups available with a lid. Probably would have been smart, but did not buy the lid, so we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. And I will mention I've got a 20-ounce nozzle there, or cup on my spray gun. So these are 20-ounce mixing cups. I should be pretty well filled. Alright guys, we've got our spray gun. Air pressure is set to about 30 PSI right now. We're going to test that, see how that runs. What I'm going to do is start on the backs of these of the rockers. I have not painted for, it's been probably 4, 5, 6 years now. So we're going to start on the back side first, kind of get a retrain myself to feeling the air gun, and then we'll move on to some of the front sides. It's going to be more visible while it's on the Jeep. Alright guys, we're going to get ready to add some color to our fenders and rockers. We did purchase a little handy paint shaker. That was a Harbor Freight special, just with as little as use as we're going to get. I figured it'd be worth spending a little bit of money on, but don't need a super high dollar one. Again, we're going to be using this Magic Tractor Implements. I've got a gloss black for the fenders. We use their primer. And this stuff does mix at it looked like a 1:8 ratio. You're going to add 1 pint per gallon. And while I'm mixing this, I will let everybody know I did swing by the old Harbor Freight while I was buying that paint shaker. And for about $45, I did upgrade to their Professional Series gun. One thing I've noticed and kind of read, I was looking around at some guns and Home Depot specials, Tractor Supply specials, nothing high end. Again, this is probably going to be one of the only paint jobs I do in the next year and a half, 2 years. But this one's got a lot more holes for air to come through to get a better fan. I wasn't real happy with some of the fan patterns I was getting out of the cheap one. Probably mainly due to it being so old and never really cleaned up properly. But for the primer, I think it worked well. For the paint, we'll try to use this, see if we can get a better pattern out of it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and lay some color. Again, I'm gonna start, since I've got a new gun, on the back end of the rockers, work our way over to some more back end stuff, and then some of the top side.